In this episode of The Iron Axiom, it's just going to be me and you. I'm going to be answering some questions that maybe you want to know about myself, my journey. Taking a pause from the standard interview of having another person across from me. You're going to get to know me a little bit deeper. And finally, in the format, professionally, that I've always wanted to do. It's just going to be my story today. And hopefully my story continues to inspire some of you, just like some of my guests already have. They've inspired me to keep going, and that's why I've chosen the guests that I have. It's just going to be me, Jon Wandling, and this is Behind the Host of AXM. I think people think I'm either a psychopath or kind of retarded. It could go either way because I'm very loud in the gym. But I train and I'm loud because I'm genuinely trying to work some stuff out. When you train heavy and hard, you're supposed to be in pain. You're supposed to be, it's supposed to be painful. It's supposed to be hard. So a little bit of noise is going to come out. I think people think I'm very unhinged when it comes to things I say. But I don't think they know there's any thought to it. If I'm making a joke, yeah, sure, there's not really any thought to it. But the things I do say seriously, there's a lot of deep thoughts behind it. Who I am, yes, is unapologetic. After going through a lot of life stuff, I've learned to be less codependent. I've learned to stand on my own. One thing I'm still learning as a young man is no matter how great the relationship was, no matter how great the friendship was, people come in seasons, and it's all to make you better. Who I am really is a hardworking, smart motherfucker. Smarter than people think. And I'm learning how to be myself. Yes, I'm going to mess up. But if you get it right the first time, then you're not human. I mean, financially, I wear a suit. But it all started when I had to get a suit for my security job. And I started going to bodybuilding events immediately after or immediately before I had to go to work. So it involved sleeping in the parking lot a lot. And I would just have the suit on here, shooting the podcast, and at bodybuilding events, and wearing this watch and this ring, which is not really like a ring. It's a self-defense ring. And this watch was a gift. But yeah, financially, I'm just as broke as the rest of you. And I'm still figuring it out like the rest of you. I think people think the bodybuilding side of me is strong. Yes, it is in some ways. But I have to hold myself accountable and say and admit that I'm not doing what the pros are doing, even though that's where I want to be. And that is another conversation I have to have with myself in the mirror every day. It was very awkward. Very, very awkward. How do people get started in the gym? You get cheated on. So it all started when I got cheated on my first, relationship in high school. And then I just started walking to school every day. So people knew me as the kid walking to school every day. People that know me from CV South High School definitely knew I walked to school that day because I smelled like shit. And I was so not self-aware back then. I didn't know I smelled like shit. All I know is that I walked to school and I'm here. So high school, not exactly the guy you see today. Didn't really know how to take care of myself. Was very sheltered. Did not know how real life worked, yet alone how the world worked. So to escape that, my buddy took me to a Marine Corps recruiting station, and I went to boot camp 2 days after I graduated high school. So you can as you can imagine, the culture shock that happened over those next 13 weeks to the next few months, and then next 4 years in the Marine Corps. I was an assaultman, so my job was to build explosives to breach buildings and to shoot anti-tank and anti-personnel rockets. After the Marine Corps, I definitely felt that adjustment going from job to job. VA stuff didn't kick in yet, so made more than a few bad financial decisions that haunt me to this day. But that's all part of being young. Relax. Went to EMT and paramedic school, worked as an EMT for a little bit. And I noticed that in my soul, the paramedics I was working with and that environment was not for me, both from a trauma aspect and from a faith aspect. I wanted to become closer to God, and just my experience as a paramedic, paramedic student, it was taking me farther and farther away from that. So I had to get out. After that, worked at this very famous gas station called Buc-ee's. If you know, you know. And it was a very good job. I like that job. But that's when I went into my first bodybuilding show. And due to some health issues, I more than going hypo at work, my body just kind of shut down after that. So 2 weeks before the show, had no job. So I was like, fuck it. I'm going to just give this prep the rest that I got. Because the first time I tried prepping for the Daytona Pro-Am, I went to rhabdo multiple times. My pee looked like Coca-Cola, TMI. Don't give a shit. But I had to drop out of that prep, so the thought of quitting broke me. And I told people around me, I told people at work, when I was still at that job, and in the mirror, and I fully meant it. I would rather die for this show than to quit again. And thanks to God, I did step on that stage in 2024. And that was the closest to heaven I ever got in my entire life. Competing for the first time was the best thing that ever happened to me. But also, during that time, I was in a very committed relationship. She was practically my fiance. But again, people come and go. And one thing I had to learn really fast is the more you search for answers and the longer you search for answers, the more you're just going to deteriorate yourself to no resolve. Forgiveness isn't for the other person. It's for you. So when God teaches you to forgive, that's for you, to take the weight off of your soul, your shoulders. No matter how cruel or cold they left, you have to forgive. That weight isn't worth the torture that comes later. You have shit to do. You have friends to take care of. You may have a family. Take care of them and move on. Unfortunately, that's just how the world works. You have to keep moving forward. You have to keep figuring it out. That's the answer. You have to keep figuring it out. But without her, I wouldn't have this. Without her, I wouldn't have pushed myself the way I am now. Without her, I wouldn't have a deeper meaning to bodybuilding. I wouldn't have taken this risk of like starting this project, this podcast, and everything I want to turn it into. Without her, I wouldn't have affected the amount of people that I have here in Pennsylvania. So, the day she left, I went to my show in 2025. A year after I competed. It was the same day. And my people at the FN gym in Edgewater, Florida, they were the first people there for me. I ran into them at the Daytona show. We were all there to support a friend of ours, Zach Geyer, making his bodybuilding and classic debut at the Daytona Pro-Am. And they were the first people there for me, and I couldn't have been more grateful for that. And because of that gym pushed me to compete in 2024. And those people at the FN gym to this day are the reason why I still don't quit. And I still have the desire to step on stage. So, with that being said, this is my formal announcement that I will be competing in the 2026 Daytona Pro-Am, making another showing in classic physique and open bodybuilding, possibly middleweight. We'll see what happens. A week after that, I'm going to compete in the Big Cat here in PA. After that, 7 weeks later, I will be competing in Las Vegas at the High Roller Royale to kick somebody's ass. You know who you are. After that, if I'm not too burnt out, I may, just for fun, have a nationals experience in Texas. But those are my formal competition announcements. But the big part of my life, after she left, I drove back up here and I did it to peak a client of mine, Nyron. Nyron, if you're watching this, I'm proud of you. I peeked Nyron into the Big Cat, and he looked phenomenal. And it was, for me, very invigorating. Almost having a full circle moment to treat him how my coach did at the Daytona. To give him everything I got peeking him in person, giving him that treatment backstage, the attention he needs. It was very invigorating and very fulfilling. And I'm so grateful that she left so I could give him that experience and to ignite his love for bodybuilding and the journey that comes with it. I got a job at Powerhouse Gym. I don't know if it's a good idea for me to disclose the location. Anyway, I worked there as a personal trainer. I don't know if I just had too much coffee, but I never in my entire life had so many ideas for bodybuilding and for the gym. I shared with the general manager at the time some of my ideas to get more people in the door, and he said I should run my own event. That's when the wheels started turning. The start of my downfall. November 15th, I ran a posing event at Powerhouse Gym, which was a huge success. Something that I've never seen happen was to treat the amateurs like pros and to give the pros the spotlight they deserve as a fan and out of respect. So I had both amateurs and pros do a pose down and guest pose individual routines. And I can't describe the pure amount of happiness I had putting together an event like that, which is another reason why I'm doing all of this, to keep tapping at that dream. No matter what, I'll figure it out. So there's supposed to be a formal grand opening January 10th, to which I may or may not, depending on how you view it, gone off the rails and just as bottom level personal trainer, even though I was like one of the only personal trainers people knew. I talked to vendors and I talked to athletes, both in person and on Instagram, WhatsApp, shocking myself with the amount of people that replied. Shocking myself with how vendors replied. So I'm excited sharing this, and this. And so right before I go to Vegas for the holidays, Christmas and New Year's, I get told to slow down pretty aggressively. So I did. Lo and behold, I wake up New Year's Day to a 2-week suspension and a non-disclosure agreement to not talk to any athletes, members, staff, anybody and everybody that I had in my circle at the time. I was essentially forced to isolate myself from. And that was pretty much the cherry on top of when I just mentally broke. I was already dealing with a lot of personal things at the time and giving this job everything I had. And that was the cherry on top. So when I came in after that 2-week suspension expired, I talked to 2 lovely people there, staff, who genuinely wanted me back. Unfortunately, I just had zero faith and zero hope that anything would work at that gym especially after they took away the opportunity for me to meet the people I looked up to since I was 15. All of the guests that we had lined up for the January 10th event, all the vendors, they took all of my ideas, totally discarded them. And that broke my heart. That broke my heart for the athletes, broke my heart for the vendors, and it broke my heart for everyone that showed up and paid a ridiculous amount of money to be there. So the next morning, I just wanted to work out. Woke up at 5 a.m. like usual to go train and to train some clients for the day. Unfortunately, I never made it out of the car door, and I never made it out of the parking lot. After my heart was broken over and over and over again, after losing my love, being burnt out of bodybuilding, someone I saw as a sister, financially, my own physical state in bodybuilding, I had enough. And I didn't see a way out. So I took my firearm and tried to take my life. But God had other plans. Out of pure divine intervention, I like to consider myself pretty strong, but I could not even lift a 3-pound pistol to my temple. And it felt like a cast around my pointer finger, forcing it not to bend. Cops show up, the entire thing. Having multiple squad cars surround you kind of changes your mind a little bit. So for whatever reason, divine intervention, I surrendered to police without any conflict whatsoever and any resistance whatsoever. And then after I'm in the back of the cop car, not even contacting him, here comes Danny Swole, walking up with an officer. And he was right there crying with me. For anyone that hates on Danny Swole, just know this man works harder than anybody I know. This man does so much behind the scenes. Not everything needs to be posted about. But if Danny was willing to do that for me, some random motherfucker, I know he's helping people fight their demons too. He was right there crying with me, gave me a hug, and I was hospitalized for 16 days. After 16 days, after I didn't think things could get any worse, I go to Powerhouse to train. After I train, I get told that I'm legally not allowed to be there. What? So I comply after being told that if I go to the property again, I will be arrested and charged with trespassing. Shocker. So I just chose not to fight it. There's gyms everywhere. But it felt like kind of a relief. I had so much help getting out of that hole. It was amazing. but it also felt like a hard reset for a social circle. Both on social media and in real life, I had to start over, building my circle up. But at the same time, I didn't want to build it up. I wanted nothing to do with anybody. I finally had room to breathe. So if you're ever looking for the light of your negative situation, find a context you can breathe in. If you have no one cheering you on, you have nobody stopping you either. If nobody is bothering you, you have nobody to stop you. So go chase whatever you want. Because people are going to say at the end of the day, you got lucky. Or where did you come from? With the relief of the amount of things I was not obliged to do or check in with, I started this. Took a risk at a dream, and I'm sticking with it. And then, as far as my future in bodybuilding, it's something I'm going to have to get better and better at. Mentally, physically, spiritually. This bodybuilding journey is meant to evolve, just like my faith. You're not supposed to be perfect. You're supposed to learn. Just like learning to walk with Christ, and just like the fitness industry, you're forever going to be a student. And don't ever compare yourself to anybody, because it's not only going to be a comparison is not only going to be a thief of your joy, it's going to be a thief of everything you deserve. It's going to be a thief of the person you are meant to be, the life you are supposed to have, the people you are supposed to impact. Comparison is a tool of the devil. And if it's a tool of the devil, that means it's a lie. Comparison is a lie. Which means if the devil's attacking you, it means you're growing closer to God. And the devil doesn't like that. Thieves don't break into empty houses. So if you feel like the devil's attacking you through your own thoughts, keep fucking going. Keep fucking going. Do whatever you have to do to buy yourself one more day. If you have any more questions about my life, feel free to leave some questions in the comments. I'm an open book. I got nothing to hide. Feel free to get to know more about me, because in order for any relationship to work, you need trust. And without trust, you have nothing. I'm dedicated to you, just like I'm dedicated to myself. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and tell your own story. Maybe internally, some part of me says I could have made it out that door. I could have walked into the gym. I could have stopped crying. Something internally told me to suck it up. Whether you view it as good or bad, resilience is the biggest tool you can have in life. You have to build it one way or another. When you pray for strength, God gives you opportunity to be strong. When you pray for faith, God gives you opportunity to be faithful. I also may or may not have said to my therapist that I wish God would backhand the shit out of me to let me know I'm not done. And he kind of did that by holding my arm down to not shoot myself. So if that's not a backhand saying I'm not done, and when I tried to do it a second time, the bullet literally not only didn't fire, the round not only didn't fire, but when I pulled out the magazine, all I saw was the grains of gunpowder, the bullet itself, and the casing. Fell right out. The gun was condition 1, loaded, ready to go. And when I got drunk one night and tried to do it again, God once again told me I'm not done by taking the round apart himself. For any gun owner, let me know if that's ever happened to you. Not trying to shoot yourself, but like, let me know if a round came apart like that after a misfire. But internally, God was directly telling me I'm not done. And that's what's changed. Pain is forever. In order to rebuild yourself, in order to build anything, there needs to be some sort of demo to it. You need to break shit in order to build shit. In order to live, you must suffer. And I think with suffering, you can go one of two paths. Evil and resentment, or love and grace. Teach others how to live with love and grace, or use your suffering as an identity to wreak havoc everywhere else. But in order to live, you must go through the grace of suffering. Like I said before, God gives you opportunities to be whatever you prayed for. God gives you opportunities. You just have to be willing to seek it. I can't relate to people in my church crowd when they say, oh, they hear God, this, that, and they see God, they hear him. I can only pick apart little tiny moments because I'm trying to seek him. If I pray to be closer to God, God's going to make his hints a little bit smaller just to see how desperate I am to seek him out. So if you're struggling to hear him, see him, or look for the signs, read the book of John first if you need somewhere to start. Then the book of Matthew. You'll see some signs, motherfucker, after those two. I promise you. I promise you, you'll see some signs. If you're ever confused on anything, God will point it out to you in real life. You'll have some sort of revelation after that. I promise you. But you have to read the goddamn book. Read the Bible. Because without that in the hospital, for me, hardly anything would have changed. Pick up the damn book. Read the Bible. Watch The Chosen. If you're a visual learner, watch The Chosen. Watch Passion of the Christ. Research it. The more you seek God on your own time, the more God will seek you on his own time. I believe in order to be successful anywhere, again, I'm not a fucking millionaire here. I'm just like the rest of you. You have to take risks. I've seen people take the easy route, take the steady route. If it's not easy, it's steady. My life is fucking chaos. Do I like it? I don't know. Probably. I keep doing it. From the age of 6, I said I don't want to be like anyone else. Because if you look around you, everyone else sucks. Everyone has given their opinion on how to run the country. Bitch, you don't know how to use a dishwasher, let alone run the country. Shut up. Nobody gives a shit about the irrelevant things you are yelling about. I think you have to have some sort of education, and with education comes educated guesses in life. You have to know a little bit of something to do a little something. But I think people need to take risks, and I believe people need to stop being like everyone else, and social media has ruined that for everybody. The people that really want to succeed in the real world, you can be successful and not a shitty fucking person at the same time. You can have $1 million and not be a shitty fucking person at the same time. If you brag about being an entrepreneur or having X amount of money or business, whatever, and behind the scenes you're getting blackout drunk and treating people like shit and using the excuse that you were drunk or using your vice to treat people like shit, fuck you. I could go on and on about like what's wrong with the world, but I think people need to love each other more and just mind your goddamn business. I don't give a fuck what X celebrity is doing. What does that have anything to do with you and your goals? I don't give a fuck what this and this on the news said or what TikTok said. What does that have anything to do with you? Oh, Trump did this. The government did that. What's your solution? Motherfucker. You can't even read a book. What solutions do you have? What policies do you want in place? You know how much paperwork it takes to get shit done? You ever worked for the government? I was fucking elbow deep with the government in the military. Everything's inefficient. I'll be at somewhere 2 hours early and told to wait. Hurry up and wait. No matter where you go, you're going to find inefficiencies everywhere. Find your efficient system to make your life work. Shut the fuck up. Mind your business and love people. Be a good human. That's it. You know what? That's what I believe. I believe people are so wound up with the negative shit they see on social media, and they're not putting enough practice into just being a bare minimum good person. If it is negatively impacting your life, fucking delete it, leave it, get sober. I don't give a fuck. You know, hey Matt, you know how many people have asked me like to do cocaine? And when I say I don't do cocaine, they ask like, why? Like, it's just as common as alcohol. Like, I rarely drink. And why is alcohol and now cocaine in Philly like, oh, I don't drink. Oh, why? Are you trying to be healthy? Are you on a diet? Is it like some religious thing? It's like, no, dude, I just don't want a fucking hangover. I got work the next day. Or I want a decent night's sleep. Or I just don't want to make a fucking bad decision. Or maybe I don't want to pay $28 for one drink. And no, I don't want to do cocaine. I've never done it before, but I don't want to start. Ooh. Hot take. Clip this shit. What people are most afraid to do is deal with existing without a vice. I mean, yeah, call me a hypocrite all you want. I do steroids and shit. But This is not to brag. This is just how I got here. I don't drink. I don't smoke cigarettes or marijuana. I don't put anything on my nose. I don't put anything on my ass. Steroids is my only drug of choice. And bodybuilding is my only vice. Don't judge me because I sin differently from you. What people have the most difficulty with is existing. How to deal with their own thoughts. And I think what people are most afraid of is existing sober. Honestly, like, I kind of chuckle a little bit when people hit their vapes, like, you got a charger? Breathe air. Breathe air. That was a joke. Relax. I'm not hating on any people that do nicotine. Do what you want. But the message still remains. Live life sober. Feel it all so you know how to deal with harder shit as it comes up. You know somebody that just buries themselves in a vice or three whenever shit gets hard. How much shit do they get done? Be your own person. Try living without a vice for a day, for a week. Try it. It's going to suck. But feel it. Life is meant to be felt. And don't crash yourself with antidepressants either. Unless, like, you're on the edge like me. But you have to find your own solution that doesn't destroy yourself. Do I take antidepressants? Sure. But I'm looking for solutions to build myself, not destroy or blunt myself. I feel it all. And that's why my brain is just so like, it's because I'm feeling it all as it comes. When a death happens, I feel it. When I almost die, I feel it. When a minor inconvenience, God help me. If that TV remote goes missing, that's going to be my 13th reason. But feel everything sober. Just for a little bit. If you're dieting hard for a bodybuilding show, you're going to find God. God's going to find you. If you're dieting and training hard, you're going to find God. And I feel like people lean too heavily on vices and not enough on faith, even in themselves, because those vices are taking away that faith. Faith in the world, faith in people around them, faith in themselves, and faith that there's even a God. Feel something so you can build something. Definitely in bodybuilding. As a young person, I still make excuses for myself. But it's a learning process. I've only competed in one show, and I gotta do it over and over and over again in order to get better at it. So another risk I'm taking is just saying fuck it and just competing in 3 shows. Do I know what's going to happen? Absolutely not. But I'm going to fuck around and find out. It's all part of life. I'm a man. I have to learn the hard way. And also, spiritually, I will forever be a student when it comes to faith and improving my relationship with God. I still sin. It makes me feel like shit. Genuinely. But it takes as much discipline to repent, just like it takes discipline everywhere else. So that's why, for me, bodybuilding and faith coexist. Because physically and spiritually we become better. So everyone else around us can become better. That energy will be contagious. The last person you want to be is the guy that's sucking the energy everywhere else. Being worthy of something means earning it. I earned belief in myself by stepping on stage for the first time. I proved to myself in real time that I can achieve this goal. I know where I fucked up. I know where I could have done better. So here's my year to prove I can do better. I can be more disciplined. I can work harder. I can work smarter. I am worthy of stepping on stage again because I earned that. Being worthy is all about earning something, working for something. In my personal opinion, if you did not suffer for it, it's not worth having. If you did not suffer for something, you are not worthy of keeping it. To be worthy, you have to earn that self-belief by achieving something. By being you don't have to be perfect, but try to get as close as you can to perfect. If you can't be perfect, be great every day, not just great on the day. Being worthy is surviving something. So after the round fell apart, after not shooting myself the first time, I am worthy of a second chance because I'm not wallowing in my own guilt, shame, depression like I would have done previously. Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's coming to stop you. Just like my experience at Powerhouse when everything was tossed to the side, I know the worth of my ideas. So I'm going to fuck around and find out and see exactly how much they're worth in the real world when it is done. Being worthy is something spiritually you have to find within yourself. Whether it's through earning it through hard work, surviving and being given a second chance, or killing your old self. Become that new person that you were afraid to be. For me, it took everything. Everything. It took the world that I knew, gone, to become the person I am now. And I guarantee life's not done with me. And I'm going to keep learning the hard way. Just like you have to. Be worthy of something by giving it more than you think. Tough it out. See what happens. Call for help when you need it. And that'll also prove who's worth your time. In times you need help and they don't answer, just like some people didn't answer for me, you'll find out very quickly who's worth your time. If you're willing to drive an hour for that person, but they're not willing to drive an hour for you, fuck them. If they're not willing to pick you up from a hospital, fuck them. If they're not willing to go to bat for you, if they're not willing to take over a country with you, if they're not willing to be your ride or die after being tested, fuck them. Really test people. See where they're at. I found out the hard way who my circle is, but you also can't be afraid of starting over. Your worthiness, the person you are the top 5 people you surround yourself with. You're a reflection of them. Find those 5 people. Everyone else, you can put as a friend or associate, but surround yourself with 5 operators to base your success on. There are some things that I'm afraid to tell the truth on because I don't want to burden anyone with my negativity. But sometimes the thing I haven't told anyone, I feel like, hey, how are you is just a common greeting. It's not a question anymore. When somebody asks how I'm doing, I always say good. Because I want to hide or I don't want to burden. But when somebody asks, especially a man, how they're doing, I mean, are we okay? Are we doing good? No. I'm pretty forced into some harsh positions, and I'm forced to figure it out. I wasn't born with any worth. I have to earn it. I mean, this is a start, but when somebody asks me, hey, how you doing? Are you okay? I'm more than anything want to say no. How are you going to pay this bill? How are you going to do this with all the ideas you have? How are you going to do this project? Or you get it. I don't fucking know. It's literally, at face value, it's literally figuring it out. I have to figure it out. Because if I don't, then I go back to what I was. Why the fuck would I ever want to go backwards? I have to figure it out. I have to move forward, or else I go back to where I was. And that's hell. Why would I want to go back? I have to push myself to be uncomfortable so I can have some sort of worth in the real world. Me personally, I have always wanted to be a husband. And for the longest time, I have felt like a husband without a wife. I've always wanted kids with the right person. And with my beliefs, I've always felt like a father without a child. With this generation, and with how things are done now, I am scared that being a good person is not enough. But that's why I'm leaning so heavily on God and why I believe so much in him. If he can rip a bullet apart, he can change something. He knows I'm capable of doing and changing something. Do I know who I'm going to die happily ever after with? No. Am I concerned about it? Kind of. But I would say one thing I've never said to anyone is, I'm fucking scared. I'm terrified. I don't know how any of this shit is going to work. All I have is like a vision, and I'm going to figure out how to do that vision. Financially, I'm going to figure it out. Logistics-wise, I'm going to figure it out. But something I've never said to anyone is, no, I'm not okay. I'm scared of what my future is going to be because of the unknowns. But that is where I have to lean on faith. I have to have faith that I will be taken care of. As long as I walk with God and not just have a dependency that he's going to carry me everywhere. If I work and walk with him, I will be okay. As long as I have faith and belief in him and in myself, I will be okay. I'm passionate because I'm angry. I'm passionate because I'm relieved. I'm passionate because I will never be satisfied. And I don't think I'll feel happiness for a good amount of time. I will most accurately say, am I happy? No, but I'm content with what's around me right now. Happiness and freedom is something I believe every person is worthy of. They just have to prove to themselves that they are worthy of such rarities in life. Rarity to be happy, genuinely. When I run into a happy person now, I think you're a fucking psychopath. I've met one happy person. Nick, you freak me out. But when you're around those people, it just pushes you to do better. When you're around positivity, it pushes you to do better. No matter how scared you are, no matter at how much you hate what you see in the mirror, punish yourself for as long as you need to. But eventually you're going to need to get up and do some work. Do whatever you have to buy yourself time. Do whatever you have to do to get moving. Because getting moving is better than staying still. Have faith. Keep moving forward. It's okay to be scared. Being scared is not a sin. But staying confined by fear is, again, a tool the devil uses to keep you trapped, to keep you from moving forward. Take that risk. Because at the end of the day, something is going to pay off. I would rather keep taking risks every day of my life than stay the same. Because this generation has definitely proved, why the fuck would you ever want to be like everyone else? And like I stated earlier, everyone else sucks. But the truth of life is that there's no avoiding work. In order to find yourself, you need truth. In order to help yourself, you need to have a burning desire to change. But if you're looking for motivation, very literally look yourself in the mirror. But I've made numerous posts that money should not be the center of your universe. Money can lead down a very evil path. Just start with being a good person. Step 1, show your face. Number 2, be a good person. Step 3, give generously without praise. Without anybody looking. Don't even pat yourself on the back in private. Give because you want to give, not because you're looking for something in return or you have a catch. Step 4, be consistent in those first 3 things. Every single day, show your face, be a good person, give generously. And those 3 actions will do more for your life than anything else. If you're looking for credit, looking for validation from the world, don't. Why would you seek credit or validation from the same world that crucified a perfect man? This world crucifies good people all the time. Why would you look for validation from the same world that does that? Do it for yourself, because the world doesn't care. Do it for yourself. Help people, and maybe you'll get somewhere. And by maybe, it just depends if you're willing to take that chance or not. Prove you're worthy. Don't give in to opinions that don't really match yours. Don't give in to opinions that don't really matter. Die on your own sword. Die on your own hill. Be committed to yourself and your beliefs. Don't be vulnerable to the tools of the devil. Acknowledge them, but always move forward. This will never not be cool to me. I did not plan on being solo today, but just drink my coffee, hope for the best. And hopefully this message through this episode inspired some of you and clicked with some of you. Leave your story down in the comments. Message me on Instagram at Jon, Jon _Wandling, Wandling, for more clips of this episode and past and future episodes. Just remember, you got this. We're all figuring it out together. I'm Jon Wandling, and this is the Iron Axiom, AXM. God bless you all.